In the end, we'll remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. So that was a Cockney Martin Luther King who was reciting a famous quote from this Codewars challenge, which is called Simple Pig Latin. And in Simple Pig Latin, we've got a colourful microphone for some reason, but forget about that. But anyway, in Simple Pig Latin, we've got move the first letter of each word to the end of it, and then add A to the end of the word. So simple as it's like the childhood game that they might get kids to play. You got pig at the start there. Take the first letter P, we move it to the end, and you add AY to it. So pig becomes ig P with AY added to the end. Atin lay for Latin. Is becomes CA, and ulk for cool. So interesting. The one thing to remember is punctuation marks remain untouched. So we've got to remember that when we're doing this. So I'm going to jump straight into it with a return statement, and I'm going to go split that string that we've got into individual elements in an array. So we've got pig on its own, Latin on its own, and we've also got the exclamation mark on its own. That's quite important to remember. Let's check you can see all that. Cool. So I'm going to then use the map iterator. A map transforms an array. So each of these elements, we're going to go whatever argument we throw in here. If it's true, whatever we tell it to do, it'll apply that to the individual elements in the array. So we're going to go here, throw in W with an arrow function, and W will represent the word, and I'll use curly braces just to spread it up over a few lines. We're going to go if W dot match, like that, and then A to Z, and we'll do caret, and then we'll do I at the end. Return W. Cool. So that should return, so I'll unpack this in a second, but that should return just the exclamation mark, and everything else should be undefined now. So if I do that, that's true, just the exclamation mark, everything else is undefined. That's because we're going return the string split. So we've got the input, which is down here. We're returning each of these on their own, split where there's a space. So that's there, demarked by that space. And then we're going to map over each of these. And if the word that we're looking at that iteration point, if that matches this pattern, which is it in the alphabet, A to Z? Is it case insensitive in the alphabet? So it can be upper or lowercase. That's the I is case insensitive. And this caret at the start of the character set says negate. So it just flips the value to not. So if not in the alphabet, case insensitive, return the character. So it's just going to return the punctuation marks now. And everything else is undefined because we haven't handled it yet. So we're going to handle it now. We're going to handle it by going w.slice. We'll do it from the first index of each word. So now we're dealing with all the undefines here. So pig, so we're going from the first character, the first index, and that'll be always the second letter in each word. From that character and onwards, we're going to have that here. So that just returns the first letter onwards, or the second letter, sorry, onwards, the first index onwards. So if I return that, then we're just going to get, just got to save it first. So now we've got everything except for the first character. So now we're going to throw in the first character at the end because it's what we need. So that's the first index is 0. And then we're going to throw in a Y. Cool, so now we've got igpay, atinlay, ca, ulk, just as it says it down here. And now we're just going to join them all together as a string on the spaces. So I'll just bring that all up together again for you. So what we did was we were returning the string split onto words. So wherever there's a space, we're splitting it. into individual elements on an array, and then we're mapping over each of those elements. If the character is not in the alphabet, then we are going to return it as it is. So if it's an exclamation mark, for example, it will stay as it is. Otherwise, we're going to return everything from the first index onwards. So here, for example, in hello, that's ELO, and then we add to the end of it the first letter of that word, so that's H, and then we're adding AY to it. So that becomes LO hey, like it does down there. If I run that, I've got it there. Oh, cool. So I'm just going to copy that, throw it in here, get rid of these. Cool, submit that. And that's our solution. Cool. And you can see these other ones here got some great regex going on there, and it's all on one line. Then this one looks very clean and neat, but it's kind of similar in logic to what we did. This one looks a bit more complex, but yeah, wow, some of them get a bit crazy. But that's generally all that we had to do. I mean, it wasn't that tricky. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. And let's get rocking. All right, see you around.